Hey.
You're listening to the Barretta Brothers. Two of us. For best results, use both ears.
Hi, Gene.
Some dancing.
Oh. This is the quiet dance party.
Hey, let's do our shameless plug so we can get right on to our guests.
Okay, really quick. Ready? Because I'm very excited about the people we have today. And I don't want to talk to you a lot.
Yeah. 50-some.
GeneBarretta.com. That's where he has stuff that you can look at.
You can give a little more.
All right, it's not very good stuff, but you can look at it.
Yeah.
GeneBarretta.com.
Humor.
Books, art. You know, he's an award-winning author, illustrator.
But ignore that.
All right, what else? Real quick.
And just go to theBarrettaBrothers.com where you can see everything about the show and you can join the mailing list. You can go to our YouTube page and subscribe. Please do. It helps the show grow. And it helps us bring on guests like we have today.
Yes. I'm sweating like hell. What is it?
So am I. This show is so hot.
We're so hot. Okay, so let's not wait any longer. Let's bring on our first guest, who is amazing. Well, it's my favorite guest. We're some old friends. We go back. Wish I could see him more often, but you know, we all get busy doing things. But phenomenal actor, writer, producer, guy, Mr. David Arquette.
Oh, thank you for that wonderful introduction.
Look at you.
Are you guys sweating?
We are.
Oh, you can see it?
Was that from the dance?
Yeah, I think.
Come on.
Look, when you're 55 and 60, this creates sweat.
I'm a sweat machine. I'm shiny. Look how shiny I am. Ooh.
Yeah, but you look healthy and young. You look like you're in shape. Oh, Gene, you're in shape, though. I'm not. I'm a horse.
David, I turned 60 the day after you turned, what, 49?
Oh, right.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
I
crossed over that.
The threshold.
Crossed over.
Old man line.
I don't give a shit phase of life. That's where sorry, I said cursed. But I think it's a good time not to care.
It really is, you know. Otherwise, you're just going to be crying most of the time. I think, like, just in tears, going, "Why? Why? Why?"
I'm just waiting for a UFO to come over and, like, of course they'd come.
Right, right.
That's the thing. Nobody's surprised this year. Everything happens.
I know.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, you look good, man.
Thanks, buddy. Thanks.
Really
I've been
good.
wrestling a little.
I know.
Up until about 6 months ago or something.
Oh my God! I tell you, you know, we've seen the documentary, and we're going to talk about that. But holy cow, man, you're just blew me away. I mean, I know you're an impressive guy, but man, that was crazy what you put yourself through, and I think you really and it was so emotional too. You know. So
I'm an emotional
amazing.
guy too.
You're an emotional guy. It's true.
Step lightly.
Oh yeah, but you know what? So there's so many different things we could talk about. We talk about your producing, right? We could talk about directing. Can we just start with some of the like acting stuff? Because I'd love to, just talk about some of the early things. And is that all right? You good with that? You could like a little kind of this is your life kind of thing.
Absolutely, I'd love that.
Awesome. Well, so you know, doing research. You know, IMDb isn't always correct, but you know, it lists like you've got what, like 140 credits or something just for acting alone.
You played Rocky Balboa.
That's right.
Really?
That was our favorite role of yours when you played Rocky Balboa.
That's true.
It says that.
And does it really somewhere?
No.
Okay.
No.
Good.
Well. But no, you know what? Parenthood. I had forgotten all about Parenthood, the series.
Yeah, there was a one before this last one.
Right. In 90.
It was my second job.
Was it really?
Wow. Yeah. It was my second TV job, I guess. But Yeah.
No, I was just going to say, because I realized my first kind of big gig was in 1990 as well, when I did the show Dinosaurs.
Wow.
But so like Leonardo DiCaprio was in Parenthood, right? With you, and
Yeah.
who else
There's
was in
some
that?
really funny pictures online of me and Leo because I look pretty similar. I mean, I look much younger, but
Yeah.
he looks like a child. He was a child. He was like 14 or something.
How old were you?
Grade?
I was probably like 18.
Oh, right.
Something like that.
So was that done before he did Gilbert Grape and he was that young?
Yeah, it was right before all that stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what were you just like, what was it like to be on a series? Like, was that your first series?
That was my second series. The first show I did was The Outsiders, which was also taken from a film and book.
The book, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool because it was an hour-long filmed. And we did 13 episodes. So I got a real education in like the camera and cinematic. Here's your mark, and close, like wide shot, 2-shot, close up kind of stuff. So I really at the end of that had like a real feeling for the camera and how it worked. And then Parenthood was a half-hour single camera. So then I had another, time period, like 13 episodes of that. Yep. So after those two, I had my bearings a little bit about filmmaking.
A real training ground, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really,
but did you? Because
young and so stupid. I remember one time, like, one of the actresses, we were just like cutting up and like had the giggles and couldn't stop, and like there's just I owe apologies to a lot of people, but I literally was 17, 18, so
right. But you come from a acting family, a family event. So had you seen your sisters and your dad? Did you go on sets before that? So were you familiar in some way to it, or were you just brand new to it, like you didn't want to think about it until you got a part and then you were in it? Was it something that you always wanted to do?
No, it wasn't something I loved it as a kid. We always did improv growing up because my dad was really big into improv. But
Louis Arquette, by the way, sorry,
Louis
just have to throw.
Yeah,
amazing,
really sweet guy.
So great, great actor.
In the committee and Spolin players and all these really great, like trained under Paul Sills and just Viola Spolin and all these really the improv original people. So that was like really great. I watched him a lot and went to see him perform that and took little kids classes and always loved that. But when I was like a teenager, I was into graffiti and breakdancing and stuff. And my sister Rosanna had become famous, and then Patricia was starting to act. So I was like, forget that. I don't want anything. We were little like graffiti gangster punk rock kids. We were just kind of like this weird hybrid of Hollywood kind of thing.
You're out doing like playing Banksy and everything, tagging stuff. And,
yeah, exactly. And running around. So I wasn't really into it, but then these girls in my high school ran up to me and they're like, they can't find someone for the school play, The Seventh Son. You should try out for it. So I had to go and I had to try out and I had to sing.
Oh, wow.
My friends like hid in the back of the thing were making fun of me. But I got the part because nobody else wanted it. So I fell in love with it. I had a great teacher named Ben DeBaldo who really like steered me and like got me out of like wasting time on the streets as much. And I started spending a lot more time in drama. And that's where it really kind of lit the love for it in me and gave me enough confidence to get my first job.
Right. Wow. Do you remember a guy named Mark Rocco?
Yeah, I love Mark Rocco. That was my first film, Where the Day Takes You.
Oh, so that was your first film?
Yeah, that was my first film. Yeah.
I love that film. His wife Lisa was my dresser on Dinosaurs. So I got to know them, and I went to a screening of it. And I think you were probably there,
Yeah.
But what a movie.
Yeah,
man.
That movie was something else. I had tried out for the Sean Astin role and hadn't gotten it, but he was gracious enough to cast me in one of the other roles, like a street hustler.
Yeah.
And Balthazar Getty was a good buddy of mine, and I was dating Alyssa Milano at the time.
Oh,
and,
you were? Oh, right.
Yeah, and so she was gracious enough to be in it as well.
But that cast, you, Will Smith, Balthazar Getty.
It was Will Smith's first film too. Yeah.
Oh, it was? Wow.
Yeah. Not everybody strikes so big on the first. Sometimes you gotta do your time. Yeah.
Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
Billy had a small part in Rocco's film Murder in the First.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Yeah. Awesome. I mean, small. Let me tell you, small.
Hey,
it went something like
small parts.
it went something like this. It went something like this. I think it's perfect.
That's good.
That was my moment.
Kid's good. Kid's good.
But yes, what a sweet guy, man. What a sweet guy.
Yeah, he was.
Mark was. So then I'm gonna jump to Never Been Kissed. Yeah. A lot of people love that movie. That was a big one. Was that a big jump for you? Did people like really start to, or were you already? Do you think you were already kind of getting noticed in a big way? And
yeah, that was one of the bigger movies after that. I did this movie called Johns that was kind of like a Sundance darling that kind of got some eyes on me.
Yeah.
And then I did Never Been Kissed. That was fun. I'd known Drew for a long time, so that was sweet to be able to work with her, play her brother.
Yeah.
And, it was a fun movie though. It was kind of bizarre because a lot like in the film where it's people that are older going back to high school. I was kind of felt that way because I'm with all these younger kids and I'm older. It's just kind of awkward. I'm sitting there in my underwear the whole time, like literally my underwear. And like I didn't really wear a robe all the time. I was just kind of like it just became
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Gene.
So I was going to say, I saw you and Drew. I was watching the first Scream again today.
Yeah. Yeah, it was cool. I saw her for a second when she was up there, but that was another whole like kind of whirlwind. Nobody knew it was going to be as successful as it had become, and it actually when it first came out wasn't and didn't really take off for a couple weeks, which is kind of unheard of. And then it's like caught like legs, and then it became like number one for a few weeks. So that was pretty exciting. That was
so exciting. Did you and Drew kind of do you think you guys connected in a family lineage of entertainers kind of thing in any way? You think that was so that at all?
When I was doing Parenthood, I had been working with Ed Begley and Ed Begley Jr. and then Ed Begley Sr. was an actor too, and I'd been watching a few things on him. And then I was at Drew's house. We were all friends, Balthazar Getty and all of us were all friends. And we're sitting there and I'm watching this movie, and it might have been It's a Wonderful Life or something. I'm not sure. And I was like, oh, that's Ed Begley Jr.'s dad. And she's like, that's my dad. So like John Barrymore or something. I was like,
her grandfather.
Or her grandfather. Yeah.
Lionel Barrymore, right?
Yeah. And I was like, oh God, I'm so embarrassed.
Oh, that's hysterical. Well, I mean, just to mention, talk about grandfathers. Can I just share something real quick?
Oh, yeah. Oh, look at you.
Wow. Where did you get that?
That's the Charlie Weaver bartender. I don't know how he got this made. He was very it's a lot like Gene and his website.
That's right.
If you haven't visited GeneBarretta.com, but he has all this stuff that he had his own kind of stuff, and he had this made, I guess. He had like cards. Yeah, does it work? Have you tried to put things?
Well, so I actually put new batteries in it, but there's this little wire mechanism that needs to be soldered, and now. But when I first got it, he used to pour a drink.
Oh yeah. So he goes like this. He pours a drink.
Yep.
Takes it up. He drinks it. And then smoke comes out of his ears and his
You have one of these.
I do. Yeah.
Oh, you're a big collector. Talk about collecting.
Oh God, too much.
You
Now
collect.
I'm at the point where I'm like,
Oh my
how do
gosh.
I not just burn it all? I want to like. I'm like, I feel like I want to be whatever the opposite of a collector is. Like
A hoarder.
like a minimalist.
Oh, I see. Right. Yeah.
Like,
What do you collect?
I love collecting. Oh gosh, I collect
Everything.
clothes, a lot of costumes. I love
Awesome clothes.
I collect art. I collect.
Don't you have like movie seats and stuff? Like, do you have movie seats?
I had movie seats and like Dodger seats and just.
I have a drive-in speaker up there.
Oh yeah, I had one of those at one point. I put it on a little stand and then we wired it so you could actually plug it in.
You can do that, yeah, with this too.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
But so your grandfather, Charlie Weaver, right? Your dad, Louis Arquette, amazing actor, was like, I mean, he did like everything on television. Didn't he like guest star in just about every possible show I can think of in the 70s and 80s? And
yeah, he had a reoccurring role on The Waltons.
Right, The Waltons. Yeah,
he did a bunch of stuff. One of his first jobs was Jonathan Winter's like talk show. He was like one of the on and off kind of.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. And then your sisters, of course.
Waiting for Guffman, I always remember him in that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sweet.
And then I got it.
Sweet. Christopher Guest, like, put him in a couple films toward the end of his life, and it was just really like a very sweet. John Candy was also one of the really sweet guys. So when you've been around for so long, like, it's just so hard to like get a job. You know, in general, in this business, it's so weird. So when those guys kind of like give you their stamp of approval, it's just really kind of I knew it meant so much to him. I'm really grateful to those guys for that.
I actually, with my little research, I noticed that your dad has 140 acting credits.
Oh, really?
Swear. You and your dad both have 140 acting credits.
Oh, wow.
That's a little scary.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
It's like,
no.
I can't curse. You can only do 140 projects, and then it's curtains. But listen, I was never Rocky Balboa, so I got one more.
I'm afraid to tell you, you have 140 credits. You're done.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. But I did get to work with Alexis.
Oh,
actually,
cool.
We did. Do you remember the what was it called? The Surreal Life.
Oh yeah.
Pepe was on the Surreal Life. We had so much fun. We had so much fun together.
Hilarious, right?
Oh my God. We had so much fun.
Alexis could go. That's what I miss most about Alexis. Is her sense of humor was just like remarkable. She could make the funniest things. Like she would watch like infomercials and like, you know, just foreign language television and just like find the nichiest, kitschiest kind of stuff.
Right. I kind of got in trouble because we were just improvising and having so much fun that they wouldn't let Pepe say certain things. But I was just like, fuck it. We were just losing. We were cracking up. I had so much fun with her. It was awesome.
I don't think the audience knew what to do with you because she did like this fake talk show and Pepe was a guest.
Yeah.
And the audience was just trying to figure it out.
So fun.
I think it was her idea too to have Pepe on.
Cool.
I think she asked for the Muppets, and she was like, "Oh, yeah, Pepe would be great."
I think I would not be surprised by that. That's exactly Alexis' style.
Do you have any favorite Muppet experiences?
Well, it's just the first time when I was like, what do you mean? Like, I can do a Muppet movie. You know what I mean? Because it had like such an impression on me. My dad loved puppets. My grandfather loved puppets. We grew up with puppets.
Right.
And then the Muppet Show was just huge to me. And then, when I found out, I was going to be in it, that was really just a thrill. I loved like the mechanics of it, just all the things that probably make it super hard to film was really interesting as like a, lover of puppets and film. So
the whole logistical side of how it all comes together and where you needed to be and where we were, right? All that stuff.
Screens and the mics and the like, the underground stuff you needed. And
Yeah.
just all of that was really fun to me.
You should mention that you're talking about Muppets from Space, correct?
Yeah.
That was the first time. Yeah.
And then working with Kermit was amazing. You know what I mean? Just kind of like one of those super surreal kind of like child moments, like where you just totally feel like for a second in your head, you're like, you know, just a child again and disappear into this world.
Yeah.
And you're like looking at when they become real, and when you guys are so brilliant at what you do, it just makes it like, and then just my favorite part was probably doing some of the like press we did, because then you'd be sitting with you guys and like then you'd get the moments of like, you know, little semi-adult-y moments when, you know, when the cameras weren't filming, just like joking around.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. Like really.
But your character, so in the Very Merry Muppet Christmas, you know, you got to spend a lot of time with Kermit. That's what I imagine was a lot of fun, that because you were, right, you guys were together a lot through that. You're guiding him through the whole thing.
Yeah.
I thought it was really, like, people didn't expect you pulled out this really sweet, endearing character. And I don't think, you know what I mean? I don't think people were expecting that. You know, I think they were thinking you were going to try and, you know, a lot of really great actors will try and out, in a sense, perform the Muppets or be bigger than the Muppets. And you kind of instinctually kept it simple, which makes it even more real, you know? Yeah. And so I just loved your performance in that. I thought it was really great.
Thank you. Great, I really loved that whole experience. It was so fun. And then you got to be part of presenting him with his star on Hollywood Boulevard, which was fun. And I wore a whole green suit. And then for years after, people would like, look at this dumb guy. Like, he dresses so stupid, and be like green suit with no reference at the fact that I was helping like with the star on Hollywood Boulevard.
The only other person I know that had a green suit like that was Steve, who was performing Kermit. Awesome. He had one too. You guys both had the green suits. That was awesome. Right. Cool. Yeah.
Was that something you found as a collector, or did you have it made for the event?
No, I had that in my closet. Yeah. It was just a matter. Oh yeah, it's just a matter of. Oh, I buy a lot of vintage clothes. I love wearing dead people's clothing. That's one of my favorite things. I was like, where has this suit been before? Like, I can feel like, you know.
Who wore that?
James Cagney in it, or I can feel like, you know, Humphrey Bogart. Not them actually wearing it, but that time period.
Every once in a while, you find some mints or an old cigarette butt or something.
A handkerchief's the best, because then you can wash it off and then add it to the collection.
You should invest in like a mortuary.
Yeah.
What's it? I should
like a mortuary. Invest in a mortuary, because then you could just literally take the clothes.
I know.
They come in it.
Or I should just like, you know, put the clothes on all the open caskets. I could dress everyone. Oh, I got something that's going to be perfect on you.
Wait till you see what I have for you. Shh.
Listen, the family's really upset. They didn't think spandex was appropriate.
Yeah, they didn't think their grandfather should be in a bozo collar. But fun idea.
Oh yeah.
Billy, did you have anything else to cover? Because I'd really like to start talking about this wrestling documentary.
I know. Can I just mention one last thing?
Yeah.
Because I thought it was such a cool idea. It's something that you do when you directed The Tripper, and you screened it at the Hollywood. Well, not screened it, but you did. It was the premiere at the Hollywood Cemetery, right?
Yeah.
Where did that? Was that just you going? That would be really cool. How do you get the Hollywood Cemetery to show a movie?
You can rent it. They screen them during the summertime, so I knew that they had done it before, and so I called them up and I asked them. They're really cool guys over there, so they made it really easy and possible. And then we just got some like taco trucks and stuff, and people just put blankets out. It was like one of the coolest things. But it was funny because I had found this really crazy, like kind of weird anti-drug kind of public service announcement or something that Paul Rubens was in. And I was like blown away by it. And I found the film copy and I wanted to surprise him. So I put it at the beginning of the film, the way they did in the old days where they, have a little introduction. I always loved that. But it was like 15, 20 minutes or something. And everybody was like, what have you done? Like, this is your premiere of your movie. And you're like, everyone thinks it's starting. And it's like this 20-minute weird film. And I was like, I loved it though. But I don't know. Some people are like, like,
I forgot about that. I remember that. I was like, what is that? And because I knew, Paul, but I was like, whoa, what is happening? I thought this was the movie at first,
I know. A lot of people did. It was really kind of twisted. I know. I probably would put it at the end of the movie now. But just because knowing now how big a deal like a premiere for people is.
Right. Well, so people know The Tripper is it's
a horror film.
So having it at the cemetery was awesome. I
wrote it with a guy named Joe Harris. Thank you. And it was crazy. It's a political satire horror film.
You can give this away when you're screening.
Oh, amazing. That is awesome. That is so cool.
Jack the Tripper. All right. So, Gene, you're anxious. You want to talk about his awesome documentary.
Because of the time, should we bring our second guest in to all talk about it together?
I don't like him.
Okay.
You don't?
We can edit that out. Okay.
I really don't like him.
What about Scream 5?
He said, yeah, I got the mustache for Scream 5. Ready to go. And convenient enough, after is Movember, so I can just leave it.
Oh.
Do a charity thing. I'm just saying.
Very good. All right. Should we bring him on then?
But he's all right if you boo him. He likes.
Oh, if we boo? All right.
If you don't like him, just lay it on. He's okay.
Got it. All right.
David, do you want to introduce him?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, should I? Well, I get the honor. Okay. He is the most untalented person I have ever met.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, incredible wrestler, raconteur, RJ City.
Boo!
It's phenomenal. That's the most genuine line reading I've ever heard David do, which I think is fantastic. I would like to say, Bill, I know how you had the Charlie Weaver toy thing here, and I wanted to come full circle for you and make you feel old because I actually have this.
Oh. Classic theater. Man.
Is that the Elvis one?
It is. You see, they're on the
That's my first.
Here.
Oh, he's there.
Yeah, there he is.
That was my first kind of character that I did for Muppets after Dinosaurs. Thanks, RJ. It's only 90 years ago.
Yeah, no, it's great. And Gene, I'm sorry. Nobody sent me the Between the Lines book, unfortunately. What are you going to do? David didn't hook me up. I apologize.
Don't worry about it. But that they never put that out digitally. It's only VHS. I've always been looking for it on DVD or something. But
the classic theater thing?
Yeah. It's in that nice white. Remember these? These were something. This was like opening a book. This was like the encyclopedia version of a VHS. This meant something.
Well, did you guys meet on the movie? We should mention just at the start the documentary out now called "You Can't Kill David Arquette," which you have to see. What?
Yes,
you cannot
kill David Arquette.
Yes, sorry. Even though time may find that statement subjective.
But I've set myself up for like my eulogy. People are like, well, it seems like you can. I've set it up for a joke.
Right.
I'm dead.
David,
I'll be doing the eulogy.
You have 140 acting credits. Time's up.
Me and David started talking. He followed me on Twitter way before the documentary, before I even knew it was like a thing. He was kind of sniffing around the wrestling business. And I tweet a lot of jokes and he would like them, but then he would basically siphon them. He would reply to them, but he would just restate the punchline in his own words. And that's just is bad etiquette because it's my jokes. Then people go, "Oh, David Arquette said something funny," but it was me. It was my base.
I was trying to show you that joke was good, but this is how you should deliver it.
Right. great. We know what a nuanced orator David Arquette can be. So anyway, I got really mad. And then Sunday mornings on YouTube, I do a thing where I make coffee in my underwear, which is, I guess, a story for another day. But I decided to have a little fun and call him out. And I said, you've been replying to my tweets, and it's a little offensive. Yeah. And I said, and this clip is in the movie, too, I thought you overacted in Muppets in Space. So I take great offense to your appraisal of his performance, Bill.
Well,
I wasn't talking about Muppets from Space.
Oh, you were talking about the other one.
I did.
Because they were like, let's tone down a little.
I did exactly what he said in Muppets.
Yeah, when Hulk Hogan is coming off a more realistic cast member than you, it's time to maybe turn the knob down a little.
Actually, Dr. Tucker was pretty cool, I thought. He was crazy. He was insane. Dr. Tucker was clearly an insane person. So that I wasn't worried about the big kind of... I thought it was pretty...
Yes, what range he has.
Well, yeah.
You know what this is leading up to? This is leading up to a match, isn't it?
No,
you
wait
guys
a minute.
are going to call each other out and announce a date, aren't you?
Yes.
Well, look, if we have to talk about the gray zone, we could talk about the gray zone. You want to talk about... Right? Talk about some great acting. Huh? Come on, RJ.
It's okay. It's okay. It's not bad. It's not bad.
What's the matter, RJ? Huh?
Oh, look at his. Oh, look at that great acting.
Oh, look, he's gonna fight you.
Yes, I have an issue with you, sir. That's how that works. No, we're here to actually. Me and David wanted to challenge Johnny Fiamma and Sal to a tag team match.
Oh yeah.
I think we're like the wrestling equivalent of that. So
Johnny
we had
Sal.
this feud that boiled over. We were just hurling insults, not knowing where it would lead. But that's kind of what I do anyway. And then lo and behold, he's like, hey, I'm actually thinking of doing this and starting to wrestle. And of course, my first question was why? And I asked that repeatedly for 2 years. And even after seeing the film, I'm still left with that question.
So when did you start getting into wrestling? What? And you're from Canada, right?
Yes, I live in Toronto. And I don't...
Oh, I love Toronto.
It's very nice. It's like a stunt double for New York. If you're driving very fast, you're like, this is New York. But if you pause it, you're like, this is not New York at all. No, I don't remember never wanting to wrestle. It was literally wrestling and The Muppet Show for me, which through the years I've realized are the exact same thing.
Yes, I have to agree with you. There are some similarities.
Yes.
So is Vince McMahon Kermit or something in a weird way, holding everything
He's
together?
Jim Henson. It's a family. The son is involved. This is how it works. It's all this, and it's also the same where it's like it's a show, but things happen backstage, and that they affect the show. It's all, and everyone comes out and has kind of their own gimmick and their own act, and sometimes there will be guests, and also it's implied that things will always go wrong. Right. There's this impending doom, even in the most fun way possible. None of this will work.
This through.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
That's interesting. And we've had fun doing stuff with you guys. I mean, the wrestling and the Mupp, we've had some fun doing some fun stuff, I always love it. I always love working with, I wish we did it more. I think it'd be fun to do some more.
I think so.
This was the 70s then, right? When you were also starting to pay attention to wrestling, and like Bruno Sammartino and Bob Backlund and all those people?
Well, we're older than them, Gene.
Well, he's saying 70s, so I don't know.
Yes, well, no. I love it. Culturally, we figured out I'm about 62 years old. Okay. I'm happy to talk about all this and not be lost at all.
His favorite singers.
How about Gorilla Monsoon?
Gorilla Monsoon was actually, speaking of Johnny Fiamma, was originally a lounge singer, and his name was Gino Morella.
I did not know, but he lived in Willingboro, New Jersey, down the street from our close family friends, and we used to wait to see if he was going to come out.
Oh my God,
that was like
that's so fun.
Gorilla Monsoon lives down the street. He's on the same
shadow.
That's amazing. And also, speaking of Dead Man's Clothes, I was listening earlier through the crack in the door of the green room. David and I have this kind of ongoing gift-giving thing. We send each other articles of Jerry Lewis's clothing.
No way.
Yeah.
What? Who has what?
Well, David started it, and he sent me a jacket that was custom made for Jerry. And on the inside, it says made for Jerry Lewis. It's kind of just like a fall jacket, kind of denim. The inside is red satin. But it's tailored in such a way that you could feel him yelling at the tailor. Like the pocket is big enough to hold like a little notebook. Like you can feel the specifications, you know?
Right.
What and era? Then he sent me a
like
Jerry
within
Lewis Warren shirt, but it's like from his big beard.
Right. The telethon, later telethon years.
Yes. Yeah, he has a nice polo. And I also sent you that Alfred Dunhill cologne. Allegedly, Jerry liked only one kind of cologne and bought 1,000 bottles of it at once so he could always smell like it. So, when we get to see each other again, David and I are going to have a seance.
I may have to send. Well, what would I send you though? I had a couple run-ins with Jerry because we did the telethon a few times.
Yes,
and I tell you, it blew my mind. I don't want to waste the time now, but sometime I'll tell you those stories. That were amazing. Just I'll just do a real quick thing. Here's a slice of it. Are you Italian? Yeah. Have a red ice pop. He gave us ice pops to suck on because I was Italian.
Those are the old show business rules.
I'm telling you, it was bizarre. We sat and we talked. It was this really weird exchange, but I loved every minute of it. It was like watching every impersonation you've ever seen of Jerry Lewis, all at once. It was phenomenal.
I just read something on Reddit that said Audrey Hepburn used to do a great Jerry Lewis impression. But Jerry then made it very public that he loved it at first, but then made it very public that it was getting tired.
Oh, really? She went too far.
She did it too often.
He wants royalties.
To segue back to the doc, Jerry Lewis is an inspiration for me when I wrestle and what an asshole he could be. And what an asshole I was.
Right.
Both to everyone I meet and specifically to David, which has been one of the great joys of my life.
When I introduced him and said he's the most talentless person I've ever met, that's what he says about me every time we wrestle together. And he gets right up in my face and he says it so close. And I swear I have to stop myself from actually, because he's so good at it that he means it. I know he means it.
Wow. Okay, so who's Johnny and who's Sal? Sorry, Gene.
I guess I would be Johnny, right?
I think so.
David has that monkey as David combs his hair. Yeah, I guess that answered the question. Perfect. Never mind.
I think we got it.
Oh, he's getting the flip with the hair.
Oh yeah, Sal used to go like this to make his hair go forward. Yeah, there you go.
David just got whiplash now.
I do. I have permanent whiplash from who Jerry
Jerry Lawler.
Yeah.
Yep.
But so let's anchor back to the film we're talking about, because this documentary is about a period in your life not too long ago, right?
Yeah, well, 20 years ago I'd won the WCW championship, and
people were upset about that.
Promotion, right? Yeah, it was a promotion for a movie, Ready to Rumble, I was doing. That was all about wrestling. And, WCW was owned by Warner Brothers, so it was this kind of thing. But the fans went crazy, and they hated me for 20 years. So I wanted to come back and sort of, train, just a story of redemption to win back their sort of acceptance.
Yeah.
Was it something that was kind of like gnawing at you? Like, did you feel like you owed something back? Was it that kind of feeling?
I had a really bad reaction to a stress test, and I had 2 stents put in my heart, and I was like really freaked out. But when I was coming out of it, and even going into it, and probably in like twilight, I thought about wrestling a ton. It's so weird. I'd thought about all the things in my life, my kids, my family, what I've done in my life, and then wrestling. It was so then that just told me that's still something that's really been bugging me. And what I learned through the whole experience was that I'd just been beating myself up my whole life, and it was kind of like there's something about this movie where it captures that, and I had to just have more self-confidence and be kinder to myself, believe in myself. I had to stop doing what they were doing to me for 20 years to myself. And that's really what the whole journey of the movie ended up being. And meeting RJ and having this new friendship.
And so you go off and you train with professionals. And I have to tell you, it was painful to watch in a good way, because I think the difference is, when you're introduced to a wrestler and you only know them as a wrestler, it's not as personal. But knowing you from other things first made it feel like, you're a friend or a relative or somebody you would know more intimately. So every time you're getting hurt and you're going through things that maybe we could go through ourselves, it makes it that much more dramatic. And you go, there's nothing you hold back on. You're getting hit with everything and flipped everywhere. And you, at the end of the fights, you're bloody and cut.
No, it's crazy. I did something called the death match, which is not sort of a lot of like certain people in the wrestling community look at it as kind of not respectable wrestling. It's kind of hard edge, crazy. It's kind of punk rock wrestling, really.
It's the one.
Why?
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, RJ, how did you feel about him doing that?
I told him, so there's two instances, one where he's in the backyard, and then later when he does it in LA, and both times I think I sternly warned him against it. Also because there's just a high margin of error. There is in wrestling, period. I mean, I tried to take care of him in our match and I gave him a black eye. It's dangerous. So when you're involving, I don't even want to say props because they're not props. The wrestling world has not figured out that Hollywood makes props yet. That has not dawned on them. It's real stuff, and it's unpredictable stuff, and things can go wrong. And as you can see in David's case, they certainly did.
Fluorescent tubes getting smashed over your head, and
well, I said I was all right with the light tube, but then they came out and they're 4 taped together. It's like it's taken on this whole new level of intensity. So,
oh my god,
there were a lot of crazy stuff that
talk about like some really hard wrestling. Gene, do you want to show them our clip of? We just want to show you some really intense stuff.
Please. This goes back a little bit.
This is back from the 70s.
Ooh. Stop it.
There's no sound. It's so old.
Oh, I love it. Super 8.
Yeah. This was early Vince McMahon.
Yes.
Yes.
There's Billy on the left.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Me in the middle.
Amazing.
Gosh, this is so great.
Now,
we built this in my basement.
Gene made all the characters in the back as the audience, and he made the ring.
You were before the whole COVID thing. They have those. That's the actual audience now.
Look at that belt, RJ.
God.
Can I get a pair of those shorts?
I know RJ's jealous of that belt. Too.
Oh, I love it.
If you want to call this,
look at this.
It's a nice Irish whip. He takes a front buckle there and always grabbed him by the hair. He gave him a left. I didn't know he was a southpaw. That's certainly a surprise to me. His leg grip.
Okay,
here's Gene.
Tagged.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
A head scissors.
Look out.
Not a bad body slam at all. I like how you ran backwards into the ropes.
Huh? Right? Look how he bounces right off.
This is tremendous.
Didn't expect that. Oh, that's our friend Robert.
Oh, did he go on to wrestle this guy?
You don't know his career?
Talent.
Look at this one. Look.
Oh!
It's funny. The strength seems to come from the highness of the socks.
What's this one called where they jam the shoulder?
The shoulder breaker. It's pretty bluntly named.
I see. And then I think here's the last move coming up, which was just really ended the match, but it was just a
that's easy. At that point, a nice casual show.
Fantastic.
That was so good.
I love that. Oh,
that was. We were in our. Well, I guess I was in maybe 15 or something, 16 at the most, and
younger.
Billy was.
You had to be. Yeah, you had to be younger than that.
Man.
Anyway, but that's the thing. We used to watch. We loved watching wrestling. It was a big thing, and superstar Billy Graham, and all those Andre the Giant. Man,
Jimmy
some of the old favorites,
who are all really human Muppets.
That's right. Bruno Sammartino.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know,
George the Animal Steel. I mean, the original.
George the Animal Steel. And then, and you both were in, and Hulk Hogan was in Muppets from Space. You both were in that, David. You and the Hulk.
The most surreal thing in your documentary, my jaw was dropping the whole time. Just you went to Mexico to train, and what they do there at intersections, busy intersections, when the cars are stopped at the light, they go out and they have wrestling matches for change.
So wild.
How do you not get killed and run over? But it's right in the center, and everybody's getting flipped onto the concrete, and then they're asking.
Is that a normal thing? Do they do that a lot? Is that just something they thought would be fun to do?
These guys have been doing it since they were kids, and they're actually like some of the highest luchadors in Mexico who still do it for extra money, and also because they love it and they love wrestling, and they but at night they're in like the biggest arena in Tijuana putting on a legitimate lucha show. But they do it there. I had no idea like what was going on, and I certainly didn't know I was supposed to participate.
Do it. Right.
So it was surreal to say the least. I was so in awe of what these guys do. They're literally like the best wrestlers in the movie. They're just so talented.
Yeah. Lucha Libre.
You won them over. You know, at first you could see them giving you this Americano, celebrity and all that. But
I think I won the guys I was with, the luchadors that I was training with. But the two guys on the street, I'm not sure they were fans. I did like a full Nelson or something like. And like I hurt the guy's knee or something. Because nothing was planned. I hadn't really been training yet, so it was right. Thing. I was like, okay, you want me to do? And I just kind of did what like if you were to actually kind of try to wrestle somebody.
Yeah, but
how long do you have? Like the traffic lights change, so how long do you have, or do they just wait for you to finish?
No, you have. Just as long as the light changes, and they do start moving if you don't. Yeah.
So, in films we shoot things all out of order. Was this a natural? Did you shoot it in kind of a natural progression of things, or did you find yourself in situations that, like you were just saying, you weren't really prepared to be doing the street fighting? Was that early on in shooting, or was that just?
That was really early on in shooting.
Right.
It all happened in sort of the right. We wanted to start at the bottom, and not the bottom, but backyard wrestling, and then luchadors, and then I knew I was going to wrestle RJ, and then I wanted personally, it wasn't even really part of the documentary, to go on the independent circuit because I wanted to get up to speed and really know what I was doing, and they were just like, you do that one with RJ, and then you'll have a final match. And I was like, no, you don't understand. I want to actually do this. I want to learn, and I want to wrestle for a while. And
I don't think he knew. I don't think we knew. Like, we knew what the beginning was, but I don't think he knew when he was going to end, because when he does our match, he already has 3 fractured ribs. So I'm going into the match thinking, you know what? This may be it for him. I would take some time off after this.
It's kind of it for me too.
That's how you
feel. I didn't know I was going to come back.
Throughout it, we're all just worried about your health because your family keep talking about your health, and you're always waiting for something to happen.
How did Coco feel? I know we see some of it, but how was Coco going through all that?
She was cool. I mean, she was freaked out a little, but she, anything not to embarrass a 16-year-old daughter, you know what I mean? And she actually was like really cool about it. And she's showing the movie to her friends, and she's like, I think she's kind of proud of it. So that was the best gift of all.
Yeah.
That I didn't embarrass her.
Well, I know time is short. Is there anything, you have Scream 5 coming up eventually, right? Is that wrapped, or is that
I leave on Monday for it, just a few days, and I have this mustache.
He's got the full Dewey, right, RJ?
It's a full dew. It's morning dew.
I probably will have to trim it down a little, but I wanted to leave these little gray.
Oh yeah, you got gray tips.
A little gray, how you doing?
You got beautiful little gray tips.
Little gray tip.
Okay, I got great tips here.
Hey, you got the great tip too. I know it's so funny, like where the grade comes. Like I have this thing, little. What's the guy's name from That's Incredible? Do you remember that show? You don't remember that show, do you?
George
RJ?
Hamilton?
No, there was a TV show called That's Incredible, and there was this one guy. Who was?
Didn't Tony Sharipa have the white thing?
One of these guys had one. But I got a nice streak.
Speaking of Pepe Le Pew.
Yeah. By the way,
Davidson?
my spirit animal, Bevan. That's how I feel. That's me and my wife.
Mademoiselle.
It's my whole life. It's been Pepe Le Pew.
And RJ, what's the name of this YouTube show where you're making coffee in your underwear? Do you want to tell everybody?
Also bluntly titled, it's RJ makes coffee in his underwear. 9:30 a.m. Eastern on Sundays on my YouTube. Just Google RJ City and a bunch of weird things will come up. And I'm making a documentary called I'm Pretty Sure You Could Kill RJ City.
You should. Why don't you do that?
Just me avoiding doing things for 90 minutes? I think that would be a great idea.
All right, so remember,
awesome.
folks, you've got to see this documentary called You Cannot Kill David Arquette. And you've got to go see RJ in his underwear making coffee.
And it's on Sunday, so you can do it before or after church, right?
Yes. It's a nice chaser.
Right.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much.
Hey,
it's really been a pleasure having you both.
Thank
you so much. It's great to see you, Davey.
You too, buddy.
All right. You guys take care. Thank you so much.
All right. That was cool.
Good guys. Awesome.
Yeah. All right.
Well, I enjoyed that.
Now I'm all set to train and
let's wrestle.
Get back in the ring.
Come on.
Got this sleep cold.
There you go.